Okay, let's try this again. We're going to start with the heads. We're going to mill the heads. I talked to a guy that's a Evinrude builder, and he told me that we can mill these heads up to about 30 thousandths. And this spot, if you remember me saying, I cleaned it before. I cleaned it with good old-fashioned carb cleaner, carburetor and choke cleaner. Cleaned this off so that I could get a good measurement with a dial indicator or a micrometer to measure the distance from this step to this fire ring. And I found out it's about 30 thousandths. So the 30 thousandths spec that the engine builder gave me, turns out you can just go ahead and mill these heads on down until this surface is even with the other two surfaces here. And the combustion chamber is so huge, it's not going to change the compression hardly at all. So what I'm going to do is mill these until we get rid of all of this crap here. And let's look around the camera. There's a bad spot right there, and there's a really bad one right there. And I'm sorry guys, it's tough to see. I'm sorry I'm filming with a phone camera, but I don't have money for a high quality camera. I don't have time to waste learning how to use one. So back to head porting or head milling lesson. First thing you want to do before you mill your head is it's going to look like this when you take it off of your engine, and you want to make it look like that. And the best way to do it is with this little guy here. Read that. See, nothing but a toothbrush. Nothing but a toothbrush for those gnarly teeth. And a little bit of this stuff. This softens carbon so quickly. It works so well. You don't have to use the Napa kind. You can go to the dollar store or Checker Shucks Kragen or whatever you have in town. Buy the cheap junk flammable kind of brake cleaner or the good old-fashioned carburetor cleaner. And now that we got it cleaned up, and it's pretty clean. It's not super nice, but I'm fixing to hack 30 thousandths off of this thing with a piece of 40 grit sandpaper. So being super clean doesn't really matter right now. And for all you guys that are going to yell at me for running this head on a piece of sandpaper that's only this skinny, that's not even as wide as the head, I know it's a bad idea, but I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to lap this afterwards, so it's not going to matter at all how crooked I get this. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, this surface here, if you look across it this way here, when I lap this and I push it forwards and backwards, what it will do, when you push forward, it's going to push on the front edge, and when you pull back, it's going to pull on the back edge. And what that will do is round this bottom of this. Now, the movement I'm making with my finger is severe, but that's what it does. You'll end up thin here and thin here and proud here in the middle. And there's a way around that, and that you keep changing the position of the head underneath your hand. And you also have to look at the marks the paper is leaving on the bottom of the head. I'm going to start to do a little bit of lapping. If you want to see how it's done, I guess I can try to show you while I'm holding the camera. But all I'm going to do is put another weight on this end of the paper to hold it down. And we're going to push and pull in a great big figure 8. And what we'll do, count your number of laps. Let's just call it 10 or 20 laps. You make 10 or 20 laps around in a figure 8. Flip the head this way. Make 10 or 20 more. However many, use the same number each time. 20 laps, 20 laps, 20 laps each time. Then turn the head this way and make a set of laps, 10 or 20, however many you want to do, this way. We want to try to get the entire surface of the head underneath there, but it's going to concentrate more on the middle, which is what is going to end up proud as you rub it this way. That will help bring the middle down. Then, after all of that, we're going to have, what a machinist would call a severely irregular surface. It's going to have a low spot right here in the middle, and it's going to have high spots here, 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 and here, and low spots on both ends as well. But they're only going to be high and low by a thousandth or two. And we'll take a piece of 400 grit sandpaper and we'll throw it down on this bench here, which may look filthy, but most of this is dust from other lapping and stuff that I've done, and there's a compound from some kind of paint or something I got on here. have to get rid of that. You cannot put sandpaper on top of that. We'll see. Can't put sandpaper on top of anything. It's going to make it stick up proud to the surface, and you'll know right away, because once you get a piece of 400 nice and wet and you start scrubbing something along it like this with a sharp edge right there, if there's the tiniest piece of debris underneath that paper, piece of debris, you can't even see it. If it sticks up under that paper, your paper will tear right away. You're going to need more than one piece of 400 grit sandpaper. I'd recommend buying a small little pack. If it comes in sheets of 5 or 10, that'll work great. By the time you get done with this engine, you'll have used most of it. Even if you're just doing a blaster motor, you're still going to need more than one sheet of 400. I promise you, you're going to get a piece of junk underneath it and tear your paper. It's just, sky's blue, grass is green. You're going to get crap under your paper when you wet sand. We'll stop for now and I'll try to do a little bit of hand milling.